Patriots. A couple doubts we all have to wonder. Number one is, Julio, how healthy are you and how much do you still have left in the tank as far as domination? You're going to be 32 years of age this year. I bring that up for this reason. If we go to the full screen. Since he entered the league, first in reception yards, second in receptions, tied for 8th in touchdowns. But the last 2 seasons since 2019, 16th in receptions, 11th in reception yards, tied for 34th in touchdowns. Obviously, he got hurt. Dealt with the hamstring this past year. Year before, missed with a shoulder and missed 1 game with a shoulder injury. You're not calling it a decline because maybe it's an outlier. Plus, he was so incredibly great that you can't really call it a decline unless you can. Remember, I bring up Peyton Manning 2 years before he retired. Yeah. He had 55 touchdown passes. He was going crazy. Then the next year, he only had like 38. Only? I mean, come on. Because 38 in comparison to 55 is a relative huge drop-off. Then the next year, he only had 9 or 8, 12, whatever the case may be. Now, we freaked out when we saw he only had single digits. Like, oh, my God, the decline is here. But what if the decline was from 55 to 38?
Stop it.
What if it was? I talk about Julio. He had 1,700 yards in 2018. Then 2019, he still had 1,300 yards. But then last year, he had 700 yards. Now, it could have just been an outlier. Obviously, it could have just been an outlier. But what if that was actually the beginning of the decline? It's not like he's getting any younger. He's going on year 10 or year 11 or year 12 in the National Football League, so he's already up there as far as how much mileage he's put on his body. So the first question, Sel, is Julio still the same dude, beast, monster, animal, first ballot Hall of Famer that he made himself out to be in his first 8-9 years of play?
Yes, I answered that. Yes, he still is, damn it. He's descending from the heavens. Now, since he's going to come as an angel, we don't need him to save the Patriots because the Patriots going to be good without him. But they could be great with him. Oh, yes. The nerve of you to talk Peyton Manning slander? No, not on this show. KD slander? No, not on this show. Nah, Julio Jones is not in decline. Julio Jones has been in a situation that has been in decline, the Atlanta Falcons. He's been in a situation with some turnover and them not materializing all of their weapons, but he's not in decline. Let's go back to 2015. And let's talk about when he had 1,871 in yards. And everybody was like, damn. Then the next year, you come back with 1,409. Acho, when he's doing his show, is going to sit there and say, I don't know, is this the next decline? Next year, another 14. So then you're like, oh, we in decline for real. Acho's show, Emmy nominated. I know he over there leading with Julio Jones decline statements. Then the next year, he hits you with almost 1,700. Then you're like, oh, what had happened was. Then he goes to 1,400. Like, point being, he playing receiver. It's a dependent position.
Yes, sir.
You know that, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's why they're called divas, because they're sitting out there frustrated. Is Matt Ryan in decline? And if he is, well, then Julio Jones, your numbers going to certainly either roller coaster or decline. But him in New England, presence alone. Sometimes, and we are defenders, so we know this, sometimes half of our scheme and game plan is just based on the fact just
chasing ghosts.
Coach is like, he's there. If he's there, we got to pay attention to him. Even if Julio never catches a pass, if Julio just is sitting there like this and Cam Newton's there and all these new additions and weapons are on the field and the Patriots, the bad news Bears Patriots of last year, that still won 7 games, that close to winning 11 games. Bill Belichick coached his butt off. Cam Newton throwing the ball backwards, according to Acho on that Emmy-nominated show in 2015 and last year. Throwing it backwards, still 21 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions. This team was supposed to be left for dead, and they showed signs of life. Well, Julio Jones just sitting there flagged on the out at X, there's a problem. It's going to be a great problem for the Patriots.
You're on to something, and I'm going to highlight that point just because we don't always get to tell stories, but this is a unique one. One of the smartest things in football that a coach I've ever seen do was when Chip Kelly in the preseason, he wouldn't kick field goals, extra points after a touchdown. He would go for 2 in the most obscure ways. He would have 10 offensive linemen out wide, have the 9 offensive linemen out wide. He'd snap it. He'd run some random obscure play. And he did it in the preseason because now in the regular season, the opposing team spent countless hours preparing for something he was never actually going to do in a game. You bring up a great point about having Julio.
Come on.
Just by having Julio out there, even if he's not the same dude, defense has to prepare for something that they may never see in the game. That's huge. But now we got to fix our attention to Cam Newton.
Don't do that.
I love how you said it. You've gotten so good at lying that I almost believed it, Sel. You said, Cam Newton had 21 touchdowns total. And only 10 interceptions.
21 total
You didn't add total.
I just
did. Had this been a book, you would have had to put total in parentheses, in which case we would have been able to read and understand the lie. He had 21 total touchdowns. What did Cam Newton do passing the ball?
Oh, you want to do
8
this?
passing touchdowns.
Did he have Julio?
Now,
okay, that's
since 2016, y'all, Cam Newton, 3rd worst completion percentage. Since 2016, Cam Newton, 3rd worst passer rating.
Wow.
Since 2016, Cam Newton, 3rd worst passing touchdown to interception ratio. Remember, I love Cam Newton. I love that man you're seeing on your screen, not me.
Can't tell.
I love his swagger. I love everything he stands for. I love the way he plays the game, how he plays the game. I just don't love his statistical output as of late. If Cam Newton in the last 5 years, Sel, is the 3rd worst quarterback based upon major statistical metrics, touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, and passer rating, are we really sure that Cam Newton isn't going to be the limiting reactant? Yes, Julio will make anybody better, but, brother, 3rd worst statistical. This ain't got nothing to do with me, Cam. Got to do with these stats. 3rd worst statistical quarterback, sir? I'm not sure Julio can help that.
Wow, you don't think he can help that? First of all, I hate when you go all the way back and you only want to go back there for some negativity. And you go back there. He throwing it to Greg Olsen. What Greg Olsen doing right now?
Greg Olsen the beast.
He was. Now he commentating. You know why? Because Greg Olsen knew it was time to go. And that's no shot at Greg Olsen, but dog, first of all, he's a tight end. Cam Newton got tight ends now. Young, Hunter Henry. Ooh, special when healthy. And he's going to be healthy. Julio Jones. Special when healthy, and he's going to be healthy. So Cam Newton didn't even have weapons. Do you know how bad it was in New England? Think about this, Acho. The place you loved, the place you built with your own hands, basically, and had the most tremendous success there, Tom Brady. He helped build that house in 20 years and left it dead because they didn't have any life. They had no weapons. Tom Brady got so frustrated with this team that he said, I got to go. Tom Brady left this team, and then Cam Newton has to grab this team, and it's already left for dead, and try and bring some life to it. And you're sitting there trying to damn Cam Newton when you should be praising Cam Newton for even doing anything to resuscitate the lack of weapons that they had. Who had the highest touchdown percentage of any player in the NFL last year for their team? Cam Newton, thank you very much. Who completed over 50% of their downfield passes leading the league? Cam Newton. Oh, who had 12 rushing touchdowns? Cam Newton. Who had the 2nd highest completion percentage of their career, including a higher completion percentage than Tom Brady? Cam Newton. So what are you talking about? Don't go to 2016. Don't go back to Greg Olsen when he was commentating almost. Go back to right now and Julio Jones potentially be on this roster and how that will look.
First off, Greg Olsen gave you like 3,000-yard seasons with
Beast by himself. They were limited in weapons out there. Don't do that.
The real question is this, though. The real issue I have trying to process what you're saying is this. You want to combine a statistically declining quarterback with a statistically declining receiver and hope for inclination.
Coming up.
Like, that's what, just make sure we all understand, America, what Marcellus wants to do. You want to add a statistically declining receiver and a statistically declining quarterback. You realize that makes a valley, not a peak. That's the issue with him.
You do realize that Tom Brady heard that as well. You know that Tom Brady was statistically declining.
But his receivers were on the incline.
Yeah, and then they went on the decline, and he went on the incline, and they still won, and it was all fine. So get out of my face with all this stuff. It can all change. All you need is a Julio Jones, or being real, they spent the most money. They got talent right now. It could go from good to great, but it's still going to be good in New England, with or without you, Julio. Coming up, Anthony Davis is a game-time decision in tonight's